Hi, everyone. It's good to have you with us. I'm Jane McCarthy.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Hanrahan. From flyers downtown to social media posts, people are claiming they are getting drugged at one of Spokane's most popular bars. A woman online says it happened to her at the Globe Bar and Kitchen.
Today, our Casey Decker spoke with the owner of the Globe. Casey's live downtown now with their response. Casey?
Well, Jane, Mark, the response today was fairly swift. The Globe's owner says that he's already working to institute some new policies and to cooperate with police and also other bar owners to address the issue of drugging. It began over the weekend with a now deleted Facebook post, which you mentioned, that was actually followed by this posting here, a physical sign outside the Globe saying women are being drugged and that's not okay. Now, we reached out to Spokane Police today, and they told us they're not seeing any spike in reports of tampered drinks. That, of course, doesn't mean those incidents aren't happening. The owner of the Globe, Scott Wilburn, says they looked into the matter here, and they looked over security footage, and although they couldn't find evidence that the customer in question specifically was tampered with, that doesn't mean they're not taking the claim seriously.
Anytime anyone says that something happened in the bar, we take every single one of those claims seriously. And we try to investigate each one.
In response, Wilburn says the Globe is instituting a series of new policies. They'll soon be offering lids for all drinks. They'll post messages around the bar giving advice on how to protect your drink. And if any customer thinks their drink has been tampered with, the bartender will remake it, no questions asked, Wilburn says. He also says that although the posts and signs were catalysts for this change, their policies, he believes, are long overdue. And now Wilburn also told me today he's actually now scheduled meetings this week with other bar owners. They're going to meet together to try to see how they can come up with solutions to address this issue overall. Reporting from downtown Spokane, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
Casey, thank you very much. To weather now, we woke up to some of the heaviest rain we've seen all summer this morning.
Indeed. There are still some lingering showers out there as well. Tom, tracking that tonight. Tom?
Yeah, most of those showers are to the north of Spokane, kind of like Highway 2 and the north of Highway 2. So you can take a look at the whole Pacific Northwest, and you can see not a whole lot of activity in areas of Oregon and southeastern Washington. But as you get a little bit closer to home, you can see that the showers are kind of firing up still just west of Spokane and just north of Spokane, with some of the strongest storms up along the Canadian border. We do have some thunderstorms that are now heading towards a little south of Newport. That's been kind of an active area. We had thunderstorms earlier up around Diamond Lake and Saskeen Lake. Those have tracked now to the east. Now we have another one that has moved out of the Deer Park area, and that is also headed towards that whole Diamond Lake area as well. It doesn't look like it's that intense, but could see some areas of maybe small hail and some brief heavy rainfall. Overall, we'll look for decreasing clouds overnight with a low of 58. Partly cloudy and windy tomorrow. Wind gusts to 30 miles an hour. Could see a few more rain showers to the north of Spokane, and cooler than average. A daytime high expected of 78. We're going to continue all week long with cooler than average weather, and that's through Saturday. Then we're back to average temps on Sunday, and I think we're really going to heat up next week. I'll have your 10-day outlook in just a few minutes.
Sounds good, Tom. We are tracking some breaking news at this hour. 20 minutes ago, the Associated Press reported that former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens died. He was the leading liberal justice on the High Court for nearly 35 years before retiring in 2010. He was 99 years old. Well, today the Dow stumbled off a 4-day winning streak as President Donald Trump renewed pressure on China over trade with the U.S. There are a lot of local businesses that could be impacted by billions of dollars of potential U.S. tariffs on China.
Turns out the leaders of one local company recently made a trip to Washington, D.C. to make a plea for Christmas ornaments.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling too.
It's July in the inland Northwest, which for some of us means...
We have lake ornaments, we have beach ornaments.
Right, it means screaming deals at the Old World Christmas Factory outlet in Spokane. The store opens every July for its Christmas in July sale.
All of these are designed by our local design team.
Doug Lauer is the president of Old World Christmas. The company makes roughly 1,500 different types of ornaments.
Clay mold is created to replicate the design, and then a steel mold is made from that. And then they take Pyrex glass tubes, put it into the mold, blow it by mouth, and then this is hand painted.
So all locally designed, but hand blown in China.
Yes, yes.
which is why Lauer's June included a trip to Washington, D.C. That's where he urged a panel at a U.S. Trade Administration hearing to take Christmas ornaments off the list to get hit with a 25% tariff on China. He says it would not only hurt his business, but roughly the 3,000 retail businesses who sell his ornaments.
These are brick and mortar, small mom and pop stores. They would lose a lot of business. So in the end, it would have just been a 25% higher price for U.S. families.
Shortly after Lauer's testimony, he was pleased to learn President Trump and China's Xi Jinping called a temporary tariff ceasefire of sorts.
So we're hoping that we don't see it later this year. But for the time being, it's good news.
However, just today, the president delivered a public warning to China, saying we have a long way to go as far as tariffs where China is concerned if we want. We have another $325 billion we can put a tariff on if we want.
Yes, well, he doesn't want to let the Chinese be too comfortable.
So the team at Old World Christmas won't get too comfortable yet either. But they hope Christmas doesn't become collateral for something entirely different.
There's still the issue with technology, stealing of technology, which is what's really behind all of this. And you know, I don't think putting tariffs on Christmas ornaments is going to change any of that.
So we'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, if you are curious, the factory store is on East Main Avenue. It is open right now Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. just through August 2nd. So it's just open for this short stretch of time for Christmas in July before it opens for the holiday season.
Get down there and stock up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jane. A nurse at Seattle Children's was diagnosed with measles after caring for a patient who was infected. The hospital says the nurse was fully vaccinated and wore protective gear while caring for the patient. They worked several shifts at the hospital before being diagnosed. Children's has notified patients and staff who may have been exposed.
Well, a man died while jumping off a cliff at a popular swimming area in Spokane County. It happened last weekend. It was at an area on Long Lake. It's called the Cove.
Authorities say he accidentally hit his head on a rock and died. Taylor Vito spoke with local firefighters about what happened. He joins us live now with what they're saying. Taylor?
Well, guys, while deaths at the Cove are rare, injuries aren't. In fact, the local fire district here tells me that over the years they've responded to several accidents in that area. All this while the popular swimming spot becomes even more popular. They call it the Cove. This is a YouTube video of the spot from a couple of years ago. Located on Long Lake, west of Tum Tum, the spot features cliffs and areas to jump into the lake. Even on Google Maps, you can see a handful of boats tied up here.
The times I've gone, there have been a lot of people there just hanging out, boats in the water, people jumping, hanging out.
Bryn Riedall has been there many times before. She and a friend were swimming today. They stayed safe in light of what happened last weekend.
Obviously, a really sad, awful thing.
Authorities confirmed that on Saturday, a 22-year-old man died after jumping off a cliff here. An assistant chief with Fire District 9 says the man struck his head on a rock. Riedall didn't see the accident, but says some of the jumps here require clearing rocks below.
They're the tallest one, you have to jump out a fair amount of distance.
A couple of off-duty firefighters were boating nearby at the time, heard the commotion, and came to help. It would be eventually too late, though. Even if they weren't there, fire officials note how remote the Cove is. Response times are long.
Sometimes probably not even cell service or phone service, so yeah, it can get a little bit scary for sure.
Fire District 9 says this appears to be the first death at the Cove. They've responded to several injuries over the years here, notably people hurting their legs and backs. The area is owned by the state and is managed by state parks, but it isn't technically a fully developed park. Still, this parking area is somewhat new, a sign of the area's growing popularity.
But I've seen people attempt flips and spins, all kinds of things.
And after that accident, the man was taken to Sacred Heart, where he was pronounced dead. He was 22 years old. Live in 9 Mile Falls, Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.
All right, Taylor, thank you very much. Well, today, veterans laid a wreath at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Riverfront Park. Vietnam Veterans of America are in Spokane for their national conference this week. The group says it's tradition to honor those who died or went missing during the Vietnam War before the conference begins. There are more than 700 veterans in town for the event.